All right, so now we're doing converting fractions to simplest form. And this is so, so important that you always do this. Even if it doesn't tell you to do it, once you finish where you're working out of whatever you're doing with fractions, you bring it down to the simplest form. Very, very important. Okay, so let's start off with this. So we've got a fraction that says 8 out of 20. It's our answer, but we've got to bring it down to the lowest fraction. So we've got to look at it and we've got to say, well, what number can go into 8, can go into 20, the same number, equal amount of time? So I always say start with 2 if they're both even, because you can do this process a few times. So let's just start with 2. So we start with 2. We say, well, if I divide that by 2, I've also got to divide that by 2. So 8 divided by 2 will give me 4, and 20 divided by 2 will give me 10. But I look at it and I think, actually, I could make that, I could divide it by 2 again. So divided by 2, divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. And 10 divided by 2 will give me 5. So, yeah, that's the lowest it can go. So, and you can keep doing that when you're working things out. You don't have to go straight away, because what you could have said was that 4 would go into 8 2 times and 4 would go into 25 times. So you could. So I'll show you another one just so you can just see. Let's do 25 over 15. Okay, so what number goes in, doesn't matter that the top number is heavy, okay, that's an improper fraction. What number goes into 25 and 15? If they end in 5s or they end in 0s, a 5 goes in automatically. So we could say, all right, we could divide it by 5. So let's divide that by 5 and divide that by 5. So 25 divided by 5 will give us 5. And 15 divided by 5 will give us 3. And then we've got our answer. Some hints and tips that I want you to look at is, if the number is even, you can divide it by 2. All right? If they're both even. This is, we're talking about both numbers. If the numbers are both even, you can divide by 2. If they end in a 5 or a 0, okay, you can divide them by 5. All right? If they both end in a 0, you can just chop the zeros off, which means you're actually dividing by 10. But if you chop 1 0 off the top, so say it was 100 by 300, if you chop that 0 off, you have to chop that 0 off, because what you do at the top, you've got to do at the bottom. If you chop 2 zeros off, you've got to chop 2 zeros off. So if it was 10 over 300, you could chop 1 0 off, but you wouldn't be able to chop 2, because you wouldn't be able to chop 2 off the 10. You could only chop the 1. Okay, so you could chop those. Another tip is, if you get a number, and I will try and think of a number, if you get a number that is 3, 4, 2, okay, over 900, and you think, what the heck am I going to do now? If you add the numbers together, so if you go 3 plus 4 gives me 7, 7 plus 2 gives me 9, let me write that down. Okay, and 9 plus 0 gives me, if these numbers here are multiples of 3, so 3, 6, or 9, the number is divisible by 3. So you add the numbers up. If it's 3, 6, or 9 that you get your answer, then you know that you can divide that by 3. 3 will go in exactly. And those are my tips for when you're looking at big numbers, okay, and you're dividing them. So let's go ahead and give it a go.